This total drama TikTok season is blowing up, but it needs to be stopped right now. If you haven't been living under a rock for the past few months, you probably have heard of Island of the Slaughtered, the most disturbing total drama fan-made season ever. With the coming of Halloween, we decided to give the series a chance and to make a video about it. But what's the deal with this thing? And most importantly, how disturbing does it get? Stay tuned because in today's episode, we're going to find out. First of all, let's make one thing clear. While there are a lot of fan-made seasons like Disventure Camp and Total Drama Reunion, Island of the Slaughtered has a way darker tone. The series started on TikTok on July 24th and appeared for the first time on this channel. Apparently, the producers are just 14 years old. That's pretty crazy because the creator describes the gore details in quite some depth. The story of Total Drama Island of the Slaughtered begins in 2007 in an alternative reality right before the events of Total Drama Island. In this universe, Camp Wawanakwa was placed in a secret isolated location, only known by the production team. Although the island is described to be somewhere very difficult to reach, the intrigue of the story begins with a serial killer hiding in the forest. After only 2 days, the situation turned really bad, with one contestant being found dead. Chris, not being the most noble person, decided to take his crew and leave the island immediately, abandoning the contestants with the murderer. After what happened, Chris disappeared from his public life. Despite the contestants' family reclamation, he decided to keep the location of the island secret. A quick disclaimer, now comes the part of the story where the creators describe in way too much detail how the contestants meet their end. So for the sake of this video not being totally destroyed by the YouTube gods, we will try to remove the gore parts of it. It is interesting that the story gives us rules for surviving the island before describing every contestant's death. Rule number 1. Find him quickly. The first one to be caught was Ezekiel. His death alerted everyone of the killer and made Chris leave the island. He was on his way to use the confessional cabin when he met the man from the woods. Rule number 2. Backstabbers get what they deserve. The second one to be caught is Lindsay. Lindsay trusted anybody, even Chris. She couldn't believe that he would abandon her with the man from the woods. One night, the group was looking for a way out of the island and Lindsay got separated. After some time, she came face to face with the killer. She ran as fast as she could, unaware of her direction. Unfortunately, she ran on the end of a cliff, leaving her with no way out. The killer got her and threw her off the cliff. She was found by Beth around some bushes. Rule number 3. Be aware of the differences. Katie and Sadie were best friends. Katie was better at some things, Sadie at others. However, in this case, the only difference that matters is who runs faster. Both got separated when the group explored the forest. It was nighttime and they walked close together when the killer found them. He chased both of them, but Sadie was slower. Now comes the part that demonstrates the killer's presence on the island long before the crew even thought of filming Total Drama there. Because after he caught Sadie, he called for the wolves to finish the job. Some fans even theorized that Sadie actually sacrificed herself so her best friend could get away. Rule number 4. Don't look at his face. The next one to meet the killer is Justin. The group was traveling together, but Justin remained somewhere behind the group. The killer noticed his good looks and decided to literally take his face. Rule number 5. Once you see her, don't turn around. During daytime, Beth needed to use the confessional room. She thought it was safer during daytime, so she went alone. However, the man from the woods was there, waiting for her. She froze for a second when she saw him and even tried to smile at him, but her smile only pissed him off even more. She tried to run, but the killer managed to grab her and take her braces out with his bare hands. Rule number 6. Everything is okay. It was a night of chaos during a killer attack when everyone decided to follow Tyler's lead. But in all that panic, everybody got separated and the killer decided to chase Tyler. He ran as fast as possible until he tripped and bruised his knee. Then, the man from the woods caught up with him. Rule number 7. Mind your business. The group separated into 2 to find food and other resources. Noah was in Duncan's group, which got lost. Him and Noah got into an argument about direction and leadership, so Duncan decided to tell his group to leave Noah behind. Left alone, Noah was an easy target. The killer caught him and drowned him in the lake. Rule number 8. Don't start a fight you can't finish. In one night of chaos, when the contestants were chased down by the killer, Harold tripped over a tree. Everyone left him behind, except for Bridget. She was a good person and tried to save him. Unfortunately, that heroism cost Bridget her own life. Rules number 9 and 10. Give him what he wishes. Give it to him now. Gwen tripped over some leaves which caused her to feel ill. Jeff and Owen volunteered to get her some medicine from the medical tent. Once there, Owen's stomach grumbled loudly, attracting the killer to the tent. He knocked out Owen by hitting him with a bat and killed Jeff with a machete. Rule number 11. Don't ever harm nature. After hours of waiting for Jeff and Owen, Cody and DJ went to search for them. Walking to the medical tent, they found the murderer there. He started chasing them both, but Cody was faster, so the killer went after DJ. The man from the woods pushed him from a high ground, making him roll down in the rough land. Rule number 12. Never interrupt him. Trent was the next one caught after DJ. He and Gwen went alone in the woods to find some medicine. However, in the middle of the search, Trent caught his leg in a bear trap. His scream made the killer come into their way. At that moment, Gwen panicked and ran away, leaving him behind. The man from the woods caught Trent and hung him by his neck. Rule number 13. Don't mess with things that aren't yours. Most of the contestants ran from the killer, but Harold decided that he doesn't want to run anymore. So, in the middle of the night, he went alone in the tool shed to get a weapon. Unfortunately for Harold, the man from the woods was nearby. He grabbed him from behind and his head. Rule number 14. Never deny your wrongdoings. When everyone was asleep, the killer got into the contestants' camp and kidnapped Courtney. He injured her legs and hung her from the stage. Rule number 15. Leave the island now. After what happened with Courtney, the survivors decided to stay awake during nighttime. One night, the contestants were gathered around a campfire when the man from the woods appeared out of nowhere and grabbed Heather by her hair. Until then, everyone thought that she was just a mean and selfish person, but in reality, she was just a kid. When Chris finally arrived at the island and started to search for survivors, all the vengeful ghosts took him and trapped his spirit on the island. The remaining contestants managed to escape the island, with the 2 crew members telling the authorities what happened. The survivors of Total Drama Island of the Slaughtered were Gwen, Duncan, Izzy, Katie, Ava, Cody, and La Bamba. In the original post, the creators give us more details about the types of spirits that the contestants became and what areas they haunt. Everything is told in the second person to give more tension to the story. Although some of the dead contestants just became classic ghosts who haunt certain places, there were some spirits like DJs who became protectors of nature. The killer was very creepy and threatening. However, the creators never gave him a good reason behind doing what he did. Apparently, he did all of that because he just wanted everyone off the island. But there is a theory that in reality, the only person he wanted to kill was Chris. In this universe, Chris is presented to us more selfish and maniacal than usual. So there's a big chance that because of Chris, something bad happened to the killer in his past, and now he became like that to get his revenge. While this is clearly the best horror total drama season ever made, the overall story and the level in which the creator describes every gore detail should raise an eyebrow. This season appeared on TikTok and Tumblr. On both these websites, there are a lot of preteens who could even be traumatized by the sensitive images. So there it is, guys. We tried something new for this video. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. Take care and see you next time with a brand new video.